Hello everybody, welcome back to Road to Master. I hope you're all having an amazing day. We're starting off with the black pieces against a 1948 from Germany. Let's play a Caro-Kann. And see what they have. A hillbilly attack. Very, very interesting stuff. I think we can go d5. I don't know the theory at all. It can get kind of wild, I believe, can this one. Let's play d5. I have no clue what we're doing, but it's going to be interesting for sure. The bishop goes back. Now, what is the point of the bishop going back? I don't quite know, to be honest. Let's go knight c6. It seems like a reasonable move. I don't know whether they're going for a queen f3 or not. I don't know. Let's keep getting the knights out. Knights are usually quite safe to develop, I think, from the get-go. They've gone for a c3, so we could take this into like a Carlsbad-ish structure with e6. I think that's probably a reasonably safe shout. If the queen comes out, we can go bishop e4. And this is an interesting bishop. We'll play e6, by the way, and get the bishop to d6. An interesting bishop. It looks flexible, I'd say. It can go to a4 or back to c2 and attack this way. We'll play bishop e7 just to free up this knight a bit. Potentially hit the knight upwards and trade off, though it's not really hitting anything there. We would take that. I think we can castle. I don't want to castle queenside, and we need to castle at some point. So, you know. And then I'm fine playing a h6. I am fine playing a h6. They've taken, which is a surprise, to be honest. Because you've given us the bishop pair there, and they're not lousy bishops either. You know, they're definitely not ideal, especially this dark square bishop. At the minute, it could support the e-push eventually. This is a bad bishop, but it's on the outside of our pawn chain, so that's good. We just need to have a bit more of a plan. So they're probably looking at the c4 square. And we probably eventually want to think about e5. Two things, though. That's going to leave us with an isolated queen pawn. Potentially not ideal. But it is what's going to be getting us the most use of our bishops. I think here we go rook c8 in preparation for their c4 push. We can think about taking the d pawn and threatening that as well. Yeah, they're probably looking at a rook e5 or a knight e5, sorry. Not particularly good, I think. Queen c7's interesting. Do we care that much about covering that? But the problem is after like a rook c1, then this is a bit less tempting with the pin on the knight to our queen. I don't know. We could think about an f6 eventually. I don't know. Let's go b5. I think b5 is okay. Because it's like limiting their play, I think. And we can even think about an a5 as well. I think I'm going to go with either to go a4 or prepare even a push if we feel that way inclined eventually. I'm not quite sure. And I am a bit lost in this position. I'm not going to lie to you all. I don't know what's happening. And the Carlsbad is sort of infamous for that. Because it's very hard for each player to make a push. So there is a lot of maneuvering that like naturally sort of happens, I think. We can think about getting this knight in this outpost here. I think that would be a good shout. So I actually want to play a4. Knight a5, followed by a knight c5. It could be good to trade off the bishops. Yeah, I'm going to do it. And we'll play this outpost game. We'll play the outposts. I think that's probably the better way to do it. We could either go c4 or b3, hitting this rook. I'm not sure which is better, to be honest. We've got to defend this pawn somehow. I'm not sure how. I really don't know how. I think knight c4 is probably the way to go. But it can get kicked out. I mean, they both can get kicked out pretty easily. How do we want to defend this? Do we want to go queen b6? I think is probably the way to play it. I think. Because you're not getting kicked about by this knight. And if you go back to e8, then you're sort of blocking in your rooks as well. So this seems like the more flexible option to guard the pawn, I guess. Potentially very loose. Looking for b4 is an option, I guess. Yeah. We can try to get the knight in and trade off rooks, but it's not really doing much, to be honest. Not unless they move this b pawn, which is very securely at the bottom of this pawn chain. We can try hit the knight. Again, what's it doing? You know, it just gets replaced by the other knight, and then our good bishop is down the drain, basically. Not ideal. I think a rook c7 could work, and we can try to double up somewhere, whether that's on the e file or on the c file. I'm not sure yet, but I think, again, it's about being flexible. They're not seriously looking for this push, so I'm not worried. We've got too many defenders of that. But we could try to double up and potentially take this pawn. Is a real, very real threat they have to deal with. Looking also at this f pawn as well. I think that's the way to play it. Even if they move this upwards, we still get the tactic because the queen and bishop are both looking at this d pawn. So I'm very happy with that at the minute. Very, very happy with that. And they allow it, right? They just allow it. Takes, pawn takes, rook takes. Takes, queen takes, pawn takes. That's just a free pawn, right? I don't think there's any tactics behind it. I hope. And to be honest, at that point, I would definitely consider trading off the bishop for the knight. I'm pretty sure this just works. I think it's just a free pawn. I don't see why it wouldn't be a free pawn. And that's sort of my criteria for tactics, basically. If I've missed something, I've missed something, you know. But you're never going to win games unless you risk it, and you can go around calculating to the end of the world. But there is always a chance that you have missed something, especially at my level. So at some point, you just got to put your hand up and say, if this doesn't work, fair enough. And this is one of those times. I am 99% sure this works, but that 1% could potentially lose the game. That's the whole point. And you just got to go for it. And it looks like the way they're thinking, it has worked to some extent, I guess. Okay, what's the plan now? We've got a pawn out of this. How do we actually make the most of it? I think we drop the bishop back. To be honest, I think this is a relatively good defensive piece. And I am comfortable with that. Potentially. Yeah, I'm a bit concerned about the activity of their knights and queen. That is something definitely worth consideration. Do we drop it back to e7? We're cutting off our rook from the defense, though. Do we go to d8? D8's probably the safer bet, but it just doesn't look nice. It's not the sort of move you want to play. I think I might have to, though. I don't think E7 works well for us. I think we go D8, and that's not a move I really want to make at all. I think the rook there doesn't seem right. Rook there doesn't seem right at all. I think I go here and go to E4, potentially come back afterwards as well. Alternatively, C5 covers the E5 square and hits this, so that's a bit more of a threat, I think. And then we can come over here potentially. So they move up, which is fair enough. Okay. Where do we go from here? Let's go there. Potentially to E8. Potentially. I don't like this situation one bit, to be honest. I think knight E8 is the way to go and potentially look for a bishop F6. Their pieces are coming into our king side very, very quickly. I'm not a fan. That knight doesn't seem well placed, to be honest. I don't see what that's doing. Let's go E8 and sit back on F6, I think is the way to play it. We could move a rook up. Oh, they've not got a pawn out of that, I don't think. Or at least it's not a devastating pawn. I did miss that, to be honest. That's silly from me. But I will trade off queens here. I will trade off queens. And we can look for this B pawn. There is no fork here. Important to know. I don't think this is horrible. I don't think this... It's not ideal at all. I don't think it's horrible. Let's go there. Potentially look for C4. Knight there. We'll just go rook C8 and trade off, I guess. And play the endgame. We're down on time, which isn't ideal either. Well, we will play this endgame. We have to play this endgame. They go knight there. Again, seems wrong. Seems wrong. I'll go knight there, I guess. That knight is a bit of an annoyance, I will admit. Let's go h5, and we can get the bishop back on f6 where it belongs. Think about a knight e5. They go there. I'll do that, and we're going to have to play a g6. We're going to have to play a g6, maybe even a king g7. Not ideal. It's still not bad. I'm still not upset with this. It's just a lot less than I hoped, to be honest. It's a lot less than I hoped. And we've got not a lot of time either. This knight's annoying. We'll go there. Potentially look for takes and just control the open file. I'll do that, sure. I'll do that and see what happens. They go that way, which I don't think is smart. Maybe it is smart. They go behind and hit our A pawn. Really? So I'm going to push this and push the A pawn then. Why not? And get behind and hit the C pawn. We could be fighting for a draw here. Could be fighting for a draw, but that's not the end of the world. We've had a lot of wins recently. I am not too upset with the draw. We've got to be very quick, though. I'll do that. I'll take that deal. I'll take that deal. We'll go there just to stop the king coming in. I think is okay. We'll go there. Rook there's fine. We can think about breaking on the king side. That's going to be awkward for them. We could have the draw here. This is very interesting. We probably drawn this. I think we've got it. Yeah, we've got the draw. Good to see. We'll play this out though. Might as well. I'll offer a draw. They want to keep playing. They want to flag us. Brilliant. I'm not sure what's happening. I don't know why we're playing this out. I'm not sure why we're playing this out. Rook versus rook. Yeah. I've never heard of something more drawn. Never heard of something more drawn. Are we going to have to play 50 moves of this? I hope not. I really do hope not. Please don't flag me. That's very rude. You're just trying to flag me, my friend. It's rude. Oh, he's actually going to do it as well. That's so rude. That's rude. That's very rude. Ooh. 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 That. Ooh. Ooh. You know. Rude. So rude. So rude. Fairs. No, you know what? You know what? You know what? Whatever. Sure. I'll give you that. You can have it. You can have it. Anyway, 83.4 versus an 85.2. Apparently we had some clear wins there, which is crazy. 2250 versus 2200. Yikes. So he'll be a Billy attack. Very cool stuff. I know there's some traps. It's too much to go to in this video. It's already been a long one. Knight c6. Yeah, we just playing solid. I think they've conceded their attack with c3. I don't like you're playing this super attacking line and you play c3. What's the point? I'm not quite sure, to be honest. Going into the Carlsbad structure, let's see what the best move was. Probably like a queen out. Apparently h3, sure. Bishop f5. Yeah, and we're playing this super solid because we know how dangerous this can be. We have the bishop pair, very nice. And we're looking for some nice spots. We're looking for some nice spots to use our pieces to the best of our ability. We could have taken this pawn. Okay, yeah, that's something we should have seen. Luckily, we got the pawn anyway. Fairs. And apparently the better way is to move the bishop down to c4 and potentially go to e7, which seems slightly more comfortable. You're getting kicked around a bit less. Sure. Apparently E7's playable. D8's still okay. And then we move the knight in. We definitely let this slip here. Definitely let this slip. Although it's not completely horrible. You know, we let them get this knight on b4. Not ideal. And yeah, we're sort of left to play this. You know, we've got the same amount of pawns. I would argue these pawns are slightly weaker, so I would give myself the slight advantage. But it's very much not easy to play, especially when this knight comes around here. We made the mistake, I think, of trading off the knight here. We're probably better off to try and push these ones, and then weaken, and then hit the back of these pawn chains. I think is probably the better plan. And then we definitely made this mistake of not going to a7 straight away, looking for the a3 push, because it gives them time to come around and support. Makes sense. And you can see that this, they've now supported, and it's going to be a bit harder for us to actually, you know, get any movement going on the queen side. Luckily they didn't go for it, and they gave us this pawn as well afterwards, which is good. I'm happy. And then they made a blunder here apparently, and the reason is to go to f6. F6 we did eventually. Oh, it's mating. Oh no. Oh, it's a mating threat. Oh, we should have seen that really. Ooh, yeah, we really should have seen that. Yeah, that's a lot tidier. That is a lot tidier. We played f6 just to stop the king getting in. And then again, this same tactic arises. Yeah, we're fighting for a draw here, to be honest. G5's a good try. Unfortunately, they get the e-pawn. And then everything just trades off, basically. Apparently this is winning. Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Yeah, rook b5. Rook b5 wins completely. King c4, king takes, and you just promote this pawn. Blah, blah, blah. It's been, yeah, it's been one of those days. It's been one of those days, one of those games. Yeah, wow. Stupid mistakes. And then this happens. But the annoying part about this is not something you can pre-move. Because they can create threats on the rook. They can do silly pre-move tricks where they go h5, like rook h5, and actually attack your rook. And if you're just shuffling from side to side, pre-moving that, you're not going to see it, and then they're going to take your rook for free. It's cheap, it's dirty, but it's something you have to be aware of. And yeah, the checks, they don't stop. Any sane person would agree to a draw here. You can play out 50 moves of this for sure. Whether you can do that in how many seconds? How many seconds? Rook takes h4. 26 seconds without increment is another question. We probably could have and should have been faster, but yeah, there's stuff you've got to be aware of. You've got the nerves. Yeah, it's not nice to be on the receiving side of. It's not nice to be on the giving side of. It feels cheap. I would never do this. Yeah, I mean, there's not much else. I don't want to hate too bad. I don't want to seem like I'm fuming. Because I always say the clock is part of the game, but this is, yeah, this is, I'd say, would I go as far as to say unsportsmanlike? Potentially, but it is what it is. This is what happens when you play online. You know, you wouldn't see this over the board. Online's a different story. You know, people care about their points. People don't see the human on the other side of the game, you know, which is fair enough. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Please like if you liked. Please subscribe if you really liked. And I'll catch you guys all tomorrow. Bye-bye.